Each year between January and April, some landscaping companies from northern Utah come to Washington County looking to drum up work and go door to door offering tree care services in what one St. George official considers a predatory manner. Shane Moore, the Director of Parks and Community Services for the City of St. George, recently told St. George News that tree care offered by these suspect companies does more harm to the trees than anything else due to a practice called tree topping.
So when we have these companies come down from northern Utah, and that's what we see this time of year, is we see landscapers come down to try to drum up work, and they're really predatory, where they'll go house to house, they'll look at a tall, beautiful tree and say, hey, just to let you know, we think your tree's dangerous, and then they'll go up and top the tree and make these improper cuts. And so what happens is they come down, they convince people that they need to top their tree, they improperly prune the tree, and then the homeowner's left with a tree now that's been severely damaged and sometimes never recovers.
Moore also went into detail about what tree topping is and what it can do to trees.
Okay, so tree topping is actually a form of tree care that's not encouraged by the International Society of Arborists. The idea is that people are trying to reduce the size of the tree, but what actually happens when you make improper tree pruning technique cuts like that is you end up with this secondary and third area growth right from that cut, where you end up having basically water suckers, is what they're called, sprout out from that cut, and you get these branches with really weak unions. And so when you get a strong wind like we had the other night, that's where we'll see those breaks happen. And so it's really detrimental to the health of a tree. So one thing that, people need to remember is those branches are stored energy. So but what happens is during the summer, the leaves act just like little solar panels, and they store energy in the branches, and that's what causes that growth. Well, that stored energy is what the tree uses right before bud break, or while the tree starts to grow before the leaves are out again. So once we cut all that stored energy off, or those stored carbohydrates off, the tree will actually, that's why they do this, they'll do this desperation kind of growth, and that's what you see at the top of a topped tree.
Tree topping used to be a widely used practice until it began to be discouraged by arborists over the last 40 years as the science around trees has advanced. If someone shows up at your door offering tree care services, Moore says the first thing to ask is if they have a certified arborist on staff, and if they do, the company will likely be a reputable one. If not, the best thing you can do is refuse the service so your trees are not harmed. To learn more, read the story. This is Mori Kessler reporting for St. George News, your #1 source for local news.